Love another talk with you over coffee. You always look so great, like a movie star framed in light, sweet perfume.
Hi everyone. So today I'm chatting with Emma Wagner and we're going to be talking weddings and writing. So first of all, Emma, do you want to introduce yourself?
Right, I'm Emma, and I write uh, some different things. One, I have two contemporary romance novels, both set in Edinburgh in Scotland, called Cross My Heart and Heart of Us. And in fact, it's this week we're celebrating the 50th anniversary for Cross My Heart, which is
Oh,
feels like yesterday, but
yeah.
and I also am writing a series of books for children, 9 to 12-year-olds, about two children that are a bit sick with church and just a bit fed up and asking questions and that kind of thing. That's been really fun to write as well. So yeah.
Cool. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So where are you originally from?
So I'm Swedish, and have lived now in the UK for longer than I ever lived in Sweden for, which feels surreal as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're married.
Yeah. Mhm.
And what's your husband's name and where's he from?
So my husband is called Ernest, and he's from Canada.
Okay. So this is going to be like a fun wedding chat, like Sweden, Canada. Where did you get married?
Uh, it's a good question. We've been married in all kinds of countries.
Everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a long story, really. We met in England. We were both on a gap year, working with a missions organization, and kind of fell in love. And I went out to visit him, and we got engaged. And because we were going to get married, we thought, well, we knew that he would have to have a fiancé visa to come back to the UK, even though he was going to work with the organization. They wouldn't sponsor his visa.
Okay.
And so we applied for this fiancé visa and got turned down on a technicality. And when we came to the embassy and asked them about, well, so what do we do now? They said, well, you need to get married, really. That's the only way that we can really give you a visa. And so we were like, well, okay. And we went to City Hall that afternoon and bought a marriage license. But they didn't have any slots that day. So we got the next closest slot, which was 9 o'clock the following morning. And then we were staying with a friend in Ottawa. And so we went home to his house, and we had to have 2 witnesses to get married in Canada. So that evening we spent calling people that might be in Ottawa that day that Ernest, my husband, knew. And he found a couple of people that he'd gone to high school with. And so the following morning, the friend that we were staying with and these 2 other guys, we picked them up on the corner where they lived, and we all went down to City Hall together. And quickly got married at 9 o'clock that morning, because at 10 o'clock we had an appointment at the embassy across the road.
Oh my goodness.
So we had to quickly say our vows, put our rings on. We had our rings because they were proof that we were getting married for our And so we run across to the embassy and show them the record of marriage and say, well, look, we're married now, can we have a visa? And they say, well, no, we need a certificate of marriage. And so in Canada, you get a record of marriage when you get married.
Okay.
And then you have to send that in, and it takes 3 months for you to get your marriage certificate.
Oh my goodness.
So we got married for nothing, because they turned down the visa application saying that you can't prove that you're married, but because you are married now, you can't have a different visa. So you have to chance it and see if you get in. So a few days later, we went to the UK, and he tried to get in on a tourist visa. And this was back in the day when immigration was more lax. And we argued for 40 minutes at the customs desk there, and eventually he let them in and let us in. And and then a few days later we were staying in the same house. We were working with the same organization. We were staying in the same house, and so we decided that we would actually just get married properly and have a little ceremony with some friends and family. But because it was so close, none of our family could attend apart from my grandma's cousin who lived close by. So It was all very strange. And then later we had our the wedding that we'd planned in Sweden for my family, and then months after that we went back to Canada and had a celebration there as well. So we are
Wow.
properly married.
Wow. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
You win. The most up to date, the most from now was like 3, because I've been speaking to a few authors who are like international pairings, and it's just like, yeah, adds to the fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a bit stressful as well, but mostly it was good. Yeah.
Right. So I was going to ask, did anything go wrong? But it was kind of such an unusual story. Just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was so quick.
Yeah, it was very odd. After we'd been turned down at the embassy, we went out for lunch with these friends that I'd never met before, for the 10 minutes before the ceremony.
Yeah.
And just had lunch together, and we were both looking at each other thinking, this is the most surreal day of our lives. And then the following morning, when we got home to where my husband's family were staying and whatever, that evening, I called my mum. And with the time change, it was like 5:30 in the morning there. But I thought I should call her to let her know what had happened. And so I rang and she was like, hello? And I said, look, I'm sorry I woke you, but I just wanted to let you know that we got married. And she's like, what?
Oh my goodness, so funny.
If my children did that to me now, they would have another thing coming. Yeah. He's forgiven us, I think.
Yeah. So how long were you dating before you got married?
About 6 months, but we were in different countries at the time. So so it was a lot of late night phone calls and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So out of the 4 wedding celebrations, was there any kind of standout moment that was just that kind of happy, like, oh, this is just such a cherished moment feeling of it all?
Yeah. So when we came back to the UK, and a few days after our first kind of ceremony, when we decided that we were going to get married, like for proper with a in a church and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Some of our friends really pulled together to kind of make that ceremony happen. And a good friend who he did the marrying bit or whatever,
Yeah.
preach and everything, and another friend put on a spread for us, like with the cake and like all kinds of things for after. And it was just really I think we both felt like we were just happy to be married. We were just happy to have each other. But it was so lovely to see how people that we hadn't known for that long, like a year, were so willing to come alongside us and to cheer us on. And I think that really meant a lot,
Yeah. That's lovely. Yeah, nice.
Mm.
So you have 2 contemporary fiction books set in Edinburgh, which I'm so excited because I think our books go side by side really well together. So although it's a little while since I've read them, so I'm just trying to think. Now the characters in your books, there's no weddings, is there?
No.
No.
I am writing
Not yet.
Not yet, no. The third book will have some weddings in it.
Oh.
But it's such a slow process of writing this third book because I'm
yeah.
up in all these other projects. So I don't know if it'll even get written, but that's the kind of aim and that what I'm working towards. I've got 25,000 words of it. So that's a quarter really. So
Yeah. And just so everyone knows, Emma is studying and she has children and she's writing children's books. So we really want the third book, but we get it. We're willing to wait.
Oh, that's good. I'm really excited for your third in the sunglasses and
Raincoats and Sunglasses series.
Raincoats and Sunglasses, yes.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I'm very excited that it's almost done and almost out. But and I get to do the fun things now, like talk to some of my favorite author friends. So
great, yeah.
It's all good. Yeah.
Can't wait to read it.
Thank you, thank you. So thank you so much for chatting about your very unusual weddings, and your writing. And yeah, can't wait to get that third book at some point. So yeah, thanks, Emma. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
I'd love another talk with you over coffee. You always look so great, like a movie star framed in light, sweet